Hello, everyone. Today we were planning on talking about Social Security and immigrants, but President Trump disclosed his new immigration plan yesterday, and we felt it was more important to discuss that with you today. So next week we'll talk about Social Security eligibility and immigrants, but today we are talking about this proposed immigration plan. I'm Raluca Hanea. I provide immigration, estate planning, and family law services to my clients with an office in Lawrenceville, Georgia. My marketing and office manager, Nina Clear, is here with me. We thank you so much for all your likes, shares, and comments as they help others to see our videos.
Okay, so tell us about President Trump's plan.
All right. We all know that President Trump has said he would change the immigration system in the United States since before he was elected. He has tried to do that through having a wall built between Mexico and the United States. He has also tried to do that with different treaty negotiations, especially with Canada and Mexico. And I want to make it clear to people, immigration law is not something that the president can change by himself in a vacuum. We have mentioned this before, but immigration law is federal law, meaning it must be passed by Congress. The American system is designed to be a system of checks and balances, so that one branch are not making laws that are illegal with no one to stop them. And we're talking about the executive branch, the president, include the president, the Congress, and the judicial, which include the Supreme Court and the federal courts.
Okay, so President Trump sharing his plan doesn't make it go into effect or even guarantee that it will. It's just him telling us about it.
No. However, we have seen this administration enact laws in a way that attempts to bypass the established system, including declaring a bogus state of emergency for the wall funding and changing USCIS policies without congressional approval. What this means is that the laws and possibly this proposed plan may be in limbo for years as they work through the Congress or the court system. So announcing it now gives President Trump a chance to say that he did what he said he was going to do during his next run for becoming president, when he actually hasn't done anything but say words.
Okay, and I read an interesting study last week by a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and they said that those who are more likely to have a mindset based on fear are conservatives, usually, and that President Trump plays on those fears to get people to agree that with him. And that seems to be what he's doing in this plan as well.
He does. He does that well. And his followers respond with 100% support, just as he knows they will.
And we also know that he had Stephen Miller, a political advisor, well known for his racist and antagonistic views towards immigrants, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, also known for his negative views towards immigrants, helped draft this plan, right?
That's right. There was also an economist, Kevin Hassett, who helped develop the plan. And we know that the appointment of this economist was opposed by many immigration groups. We also know that these men presented this plan to Congress before it was even unveiled to the public yesterday, and it has been heavily criticized by both Republicans and Democrats.
And we'll discuss some of the criticisms, but first, let's talk about the plan.
Okay, he called it a Build America plan. Basically, anyone who gets a visa to immigrate to the United States will do so through a point system.
And do we know how the point system will work?
It is difficult to say. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but President Trump, when he is speaking, he's using many words that more words than most people. And Very rarely he says something of substance. So nothing has been published yet for anyone to review that we could determine. So this is what we have been told. We have been told that this will be a merit-based system, meaning everyone applying to immigrate will receive points for a variety of things that include if they know English, how well they do on a civic test, as well as the background and health checks, which are already done. So, and also the diversity lottery and visa lotteries and most family-based immigration will be eliminated.
And currently, you don't need to speak English or take a civics test until you apply to become a citizen, right?
That's right.
Anything else that will be required?
Not that was made clear. We were told that there will be no per country limits as there are now. Nina had to go. We are alive, so things are happening. So let's go back. So we were told that there will be no per country limits as they are now. Also, President Trump suggested that those who have advanced degrees or a better rank, when they graduate, they may get higher points, but it is difficult to say now at this point. And when I heard that, it reminded me of the current pay for college scandal that is happening. So, will there be anything in place to stop a foreigner from paying, to show they are high in their class or have an advanced degree when they really don't? So at this time, we don't know. At this time, anyone submitting immigration applications, they affirm that they are not committing fraud. So if it is found out that they did, then they can be removed from U.S., even if they become a U.S. citizen. But it is a concern that this new merit system appears that it could lead to more fraud than is happening now.
Okay, and since we really don't know very much beyond, there will be a point system. Let's move to the criticisms.
Okay, so first, this plan failed to address many of the current problems with immigration. One, neither a way to handle those here under the DACA system, which are about 3.6 million, or that are here illegally, the 11 million people. None of these were addressed. Second, nothing was said about the long wait that people currently experience with immigration. And in fact, the third criticism is that this plan suggested that people who have already paid their fees and submitted their application and who may have waited for years now, they have to reapply through this point system. There is also concern that moving to this point system, which says it will increase employment-based immigration, will actually hurt businesses. And the biggest criticism is that this plan is set to reduce or completely eliminate family-based immigration. Let me repeat that. So Trump said he doesn't want family-based immigration to happen anymore. And what can I say? That means that the Republican Party, if they support this plan of the president, is saying that they don't want families to be together. So admittedly, we have already seen from the separation that have been happening at the border that this is true, but now they are putting it in black and white. So if you are a U.S. citizen and you thought that your spouse, parents, or siblings could join you in the United States, the president of the United States has said, I don't want your family to come here. We now know that they're claiming support for the family values and straightening families is just mere rhetoric. And they just say that to get elected. And sadly, it does because many of their supporters, they really fail to see their hypocrisy. And Republicans have complained that the proposed plan says nothing about limiting the number of green cards issued every year. And it's true. It only says that they will distribute the green cards differently. And if you listen closely, President Trump actually said they would stop having per country limits, which is one way that the green cards are limited every year. So it appears that the president is now saying that we will have endless green cards issued, but it's okay because people passed a point system.
And this plan seems especially ironic now because we know that both Jared Kushner and President Trump only graduated with degrees from where they got them because their parents paid large sums of money to make it happen. But they're advocating a merit-based system. So do as I say, not as I do, basically, is what they're both saying. And much of the criticism I have read said that this proposed plan appears to mostly benefit the wealthy who can pay what they need to get the points they need to.
That's what I heard as well.
And it's also ironic that he wants a civics test for people entering the U.S. because it's so ridiculous. Because he's shown himself. He doesn't even, like a couple weeks ago, he tweeted something about the First Amendment, and it didn't even apply to what he was talking about. Like, he doesn't even know how the government works in the United States, right? And studies have shown that the majority of Americans would actually fail the civics test that you're required to take as a naturalized citizen, right?
Yes, and it does seem very hypocritical
to
ask a brand new immigrant.
Not even an immigrant. This is before they're able to immigrate, right?
Yes, they're supposed to know English and they're supposed to take a test.
Right. And do the health test and do the background check way before they can immigrate. Then they get these points,
yes.
And then they can immigrate. And right now, the health test, it expires. And if you get it way before you're supposed to immigrate, we already have, 8 million people or whatever waiting to come. So you get your health test now, you get a point, say you're number 1, and what? Like, that's going to expire. So you have to get another health test, or you don't have one at all by the time you finally get here?
Exactly. There's so many questions.
The background check isn't good for as long as it's good. You know what I mean? Like, like, do people realize that we are being protected already? By what's happening? So anyway, okay. Any other criticisms?
Well, yes, we have talked about the wall President Trump wants to build, and he has repeatedly spoken about how the asylum system needs to change, but this plan makes no mention of any changes to the asylum system or a way to keep people out of the border, though it does support building the wall, as always.
So it sounds like, I know I have already said this, but there's a lot of things missing in this plan.
That's true. And there are reports from staff at the White House that, as we said, Trump is merely using this to garner support for his presidential election. He has many supporters in his base who are terrified of immigrants. And sadly, they don't realize that this plan isn't going to do anything about their fears, as it doesn't address those who are here illegally, nor the ones that are trying to come into the U.S. through asylum at the borders. Thank you so much for watching, and we would like to see your comments and send us your questions. We'll try to answer them. Please reach out to us for any questions, as we are always here to help. Have a good weekend.